Hi, I'm Paul O'Rourke and this is My Story.
Vision Radio Network presents My Story.
If I was a Muppet, I think I'd be Kermit, because I'd want to run the show. And he's a pretty cool kind of guy as well. He's pretty humble, curious, inquisitive, lots of questions, that's sort of me. Well, I'm married to Janine. We've been together 31 years now. We have 3 adult children. They're 30, 28 and 26. And I have 1 daughter-in-law and 4 grandchildren. Well, I'm a Westie. I grew up in the western suburbs of Sydney, specifically Campbelltown. Spent my first 20 years there, went to school there, ended up becoming editor of the local paper. So I have a long association with Campbelltown. I think my earliest memories all revolve around sport. So we lived opposite a park, and so we spent many hours over there playing football and playing on the swings and all that sort of stuff. And so most of my early memories are about just hanging out and playing as kids. I guess I've always been moved by injustice. That's really shaped who I am, and so I got into journalism with a desire to, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And so I did that for many years, and then later on changed to then speak up for children through various ministries, Compassion and more recently through Emily's Voice. But I'm really moved by injustice. I don't like people picking on the little guy, and the poor and the unborn are certainly the most marginalised, the most vulnerable. And so everything within me is about how do I stand up for the ones that can't speak for themselves. Faith shapes everything that I do. It's who I am. Everything I do is out of gratitude for what God's done for me. It's the realisation that while this isn't home, we're here for 60, 70, 80 years, and we're here for a purpose, and that purpose of serving God really shapes and motivates me to do what I do, both professionally and personally. I'd love to say that I have this incredible turnaround from my old life to my new, but I kind of slid into Christianity. It sounds kind of weird. The closest thing for me was, there wasn't an exact moment when I, responded to the Lord. It just happened as a process over many months. But I think the closest is really being baptised and coming out of the waters and just feeling really clean for the first time. It was like this weight had been lifted off my shoulders. So that was at age 20, so I'm now 51, so that's going back 31 years now. I think my motivating verse is really Proverbs 31, 8 and 9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. That's kind of my motivation or one of my life verses. I think the place to start with your sharing your faith is your own story. I have a feeling that you have to earn the right to share the gospel, and so the starting point is just, what do you believe and why, and what I believe and why. I'm a journalist by background, so I'm always curious about other people's story. Why do you believe what you believe? What's your worldview, and how did you get that? What are the values that shape who you are? They're the sort of questions I like to ask. And, it sounds a bit harsh, but when you do that, you see how superficial and how just really kind of flaky some people's worldviews are. They don't actually know why they believe what they believe. And so just asking people questions is a really good way of doing that. Look, I don't know how long I'm left on this earth, but I'm going to devote the rest of my life to helping kids, and specifically unborn children and their families, and changing culture with regard to that life issue, because I think it informs so many other issues to do with children. So if we don't care much about the unborn, then we're not going to care much about the newborn and the toddler and the adolescent and the adult. So for me, our worldview of children really, shapes my life, and wanting to just share that with as many people as I can. Hi, I'm Paul O'Rourke, and that was My Story.
My Story, captured at Easterfest 2013 by the team at Vision Radio Network.